My research has always been focused on occupational risk factors for lymphoma. And in the past years, we produced several important papers that highlight the excess risk associated with occupational exposures, including farm work and particularly some pesticides and organophosphates in particular, and several solvents, including benzene and trichloroethylene, and sterilizing agent, which is frequently used in hospital, for instance, which is ethylene oxide, which was the first study, the first case control study showing an excess risk of lymphoma in people exposed to ethylene oxide. These were important findings, and they have been considered also in the monographs of the International Agency for Research on Cancer in upgrading the evaluations of benzene, trichloroethylene, and ethylene oxide. And overall, we also did an exploratory analysis to weight the role of occupational factors in the etiology of chronic lymphocytic leukemia, and we found out that those three exposures plus contact with meat would explain about 12% of chronic lymphocytic leukemia, while, for instance, all the genetic gene polymorphisms that were discovered with the GWAS study to be related to risk of chronic lymphocytic leukemia overall would explain about 16%. So it's more or less the same weight between the two factors, genes from one side and just 4 occupational factors on the other side. And the rest overall is about 72% is unexplained, which is mostly related perhaps to interactions between other unexplored so far environmental and occupational risk factors and genes. That's the sense of our work actually, and we are going, thanks to the InterLymph collaboration, we are going pretty much forward on this. There are future projects, there are projects going on. One is about ionizing radiation, for instance, and I mean, ionizing radiation is well known as a risk factor for leukemia, for instance, while several lymphomas have been associated in the past, but we have the opportunity, thanks to the large data set that we have available, of exploring in more detail risks for specific lymphoma subtypes associated with internal and external exposure to ionizing radiation. But there are other projects going on, including shift work, for instance, and particularly night shifts, which disrupt the awake and sleep cycle. This is very much an important point that I'm personally pursuing. One important issue would be changing their lifestyle and adopting a lifestyle which would be more prone to prevent the occurrence of such diseases. And on the workplace, actually, such diseases should be acknowledged as occupational diseases, which is not the case so far in most parts of the world. And so people should be more careful about these exposures, and so to prevent new cases in the future, and to have those who had such diseases acknowledged and they were exposed, acknowledged as occupational diseases and compensated because of that.